Hello and a very warm welcome to the brand new edition of Parliament This Week, your weekly roundup of all important developments in Parliament. I'm Kriti Mishra and now let's begin the show. So Rajya Sabha chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has urged the newly elected members of the upper house to uphold the rules and procedures of the house while discharging their duties as the lawmakers for the country. He also urged the newly elected not to fall prey to the temptation of disrupting the proceedings of the house for short-term gains and instead to be conscious of their noble responsibility towards enhancing the standing of the apex legislature in public esteem. Take a look.
In his remarks after administrating the oath of affirmation, Chairman Naidu urged new members to ensure that their conduct within and outside the House enhances the standing of the institution. He advised members to question themselves if they had acted to enhance the dignity of the institution at the end of each day during sessions and to examine if their conduct was ethical during the inter-session period.
Ensuing rule of law is the spirit of our law of the land. It shall begin with your compliance with the rules and procedure of this House. One talisman that I would like to suggest to you is, when the House is in session, at the end of each sitting and before you take to sleep, just ask one question to yourself, that being, if you have furthered the cause of this institution or acted to the contrary. When the House is not in session, at the end of the day, ask yourself if you have acted as per the norms of the right conduct expected of a member of the Parliament. Answer to these simple questions would guide you on the right path.
The chairman also urged members to refrain from disrupting proceedings of the House.
You have been chosen as the lawmakers of the nation. While doing so, you should ensure that your conduct in the House is in conformity with the rules and procedure of this House, and your conduct outside is in line with ethic norms. Don't fall prey to the temptation of disrupting the proceedings of the House for short-term gains, and instead be conscious of your noble responsibility towards enhancing the standing of the apex legislature in public esteem. Ensuing rule of law is the spirit of our law of the land. It shall begin with your compliance with the rules and procedure of this House.
The chairman explained that his plan to administer oath or affirmation earlier had to be put on hold on account of travel restrictions imposed in the wake of COVID-19. He said that even after the restrictions were relaxed, many newly elected expressed concern over travelling long distances. Noting that parliamentary committees resumed meetings this month, Chairman Naidu said the oath-taking had been planned to enable their participation in the committee meetings right away and also in the monsoon session to follow. The chairman said in a day or two, the new members will be nominated on various committees. Constitutional provisions require members to take oath or affirmation before they take part in committees or parliament proceedings.
I have thought of enabling you, all of you, to make oath or affirmation much earlier. But as you are all aware, we have been passing through difficult times due to coronavirus outbreak and the attendant restrictions on travel and the requirement of physical distancing, etc. Quite a few of the newly elected members have expressed concern over travelling long distance for oath-taking, even though restrictions on domestic travel were lifted in May and trail travel was also allowed to a certain extent. For the same reasons, meetings of the parliamentary committees also could not take place till the end of June, and the committees have started meeting in the recent past. Accordingly, today's oath-taking has been organized to enable the newly elected members to participate in the committee's meetings, which are underway at once, and in the monsoon session, which is to follow. I hope to nominate all of you in different committees in a day or two, as per the choice given by you and also by your parties.
The chairman observed that Rajya Sabha completed 68 years of its journey this May. In this context, he said the upper house had been a constructive partner in lawmaking despite the provision to differ with the stand taken by the Lok Sabha on legislative proposals. The chairman also referred to concerted efforts by the centre, the state governments and frontline warriors like doctors, medical staff, security forces, media, etc. to contain the pandemic. Chairman Naidu further told first-time members of Rajya Sabha to enhance their knowledge about the history and contribution of the House during the last 68 years, the objective and course of the freedom struggle, the making of the Constitution and the functioning of the parliamentary institutions by reading standard books. He urged seniors to guide first-timers in understanding the functioning of the House. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's take a look at the newly elected or re-elected members who took oath or affirmation on Wednesday.
Of the 61 members elected to Rajya Sabha, 45 made oath or affirmation on Wednesday. Those members who could not make oath or affirmation will do so during the ensuing monsoon session. Among the BJP members who took oath include Jyotiraditya Scindia and Sumer Singh Solanki from Madhya Pradesh, Nabam Rebia from Arunachal Pradesh, Bhuvneshwar Kalita from Assam, Vivek Thakur from Bihar, Abhay Bhardwaj, Ramila Ben Bara and Narhari Amin from Gujarat, Ramchandar Jangra from Haryana, Indu Goswami from Himachal Pradesh, Deepak Prakash from Jharkhand, Ashok Gasti and Irana Kadadi from Karnataka, Udyan Raje Bhosle and Bhagwat Karad from Maharashtra, Maharaja Lishemba Sanajuaba from Manipur, and Rajendra Gehlot from Rajasthan. From the Congress, the leaders who took oath were KTS Tulsi from Chhattisgarh, Shakti Singh Gohil from Gujarat, Dipender Singh Hooda from Haryana, Mallikarjun Kharge from Karnataka, Digvijay Singh from Madhya Pradesh, Rajiv Sataf from Maharashtra, and Neeraj Dangi and KC Venugopal from Rajasthan. Oath was also administered to JDU's Harivansh and Ramnath Thakur and RJD's AD Singh and Premchand Gupta from Bihar, and to Bikash Ranjan Bhattacharya of the CPIM from West Bengal. Priyanka Chaturvedi from Shiv Sena, NCP Chief Sharad Pawar, and RPI Chief and Minister of State for Social Justice and Empowerment Ramdas Athavale were administered the oath from Maharashtra. 3 MPs from YSR Congress Party who represent Andhra Pradesh include Ayodhya Rami Reddy Alla, Pillai Subhash Chandra Bose and Venkata Ramana Rao Mopi Devi. Representing Odisha, Muzibullah Khan, Subhash Singh, Sujit Kumar and Mamta Mohanta from Biju Janata Dal also took oath. From Tamil Nadu, KP Munusamy of the AIADMK and M. Thambidurai of the AIADMK and GK Vasan of the Tamil Manila Congress also took oath. Oath was also administered to BPF's Biswajit Daimari from Assam and MNF's K. Vanlal Vena from Mizoram. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And India's linguistic diversity was also on display in the upper house as members took oath of affirmation in varied languages. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has always motivated members to speak in their mother tongue for wider reach.
New members, who included 3 women, made oath or affirmation in 10 languages: Telugu, Bodo, Kannada, Manipuri, Marathi, Odia, Tamil, Bengali, Hindi and English.
ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಎಂಬ ಹೆಸರಿನವನಾದ ನಾನು ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭೆಯ ಸದಸ್ಯನಾಗಿ
मी प्रियांका विक्रम चतुर्वेदी राज्यसभेची सदस्य म्हणून
मुजीबुल्लाह खान राज्यसभार सदस्य रूपे निर्वाचित होई
The Rajya Sabha now has a facility for the simultaneous interpretation in all 22 Indian languages after the addition of 5 more languages. This had become possible after Chairman Naidu inducted a new panel of interpreters. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And as we know, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu administered oath to the newly elected or re-elected members. Chairman noted that the newly elected or re-elected include some veterans and a good number of first-timers. Elaborate arrangements were made by the Rajya Sabha Secretariat keeping in view COVID-19 induced social distancing norms.
45 of the 61 new members elected to the Rajya Sabha in the recent biennial and by-polls took oath or affirmation on Wednesday. Of them, 36 were elected to the upper house for the first time. 12 sitting members were re-elected. They include Sharad Pawar, Digvijay Singh, Bhuvneshwar Kalita, Prem Chand Gupta, Harivansh and Ramdas Athavale. Some of the first-time members like Mallikarjun Kharge, Jyotiraditya Scindia and K.C. Venugopal have a vast legislative experience. Subscribing to oath or affirmation is usually done either during the session or in the chamber of the chairman of Rajya Sabha if the house is not in session. But social distancing requirements made it necessary for the oath or affirmation to be administered by the chairman in the Rajya Sabha chamber for the first time. Only one family member or guest was allowed to accompany each member to witness the oath taking. They were accommodated in the Rajya Sabha galleries as per social distancing norms. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the newly elected members spoke to RSTV about their priorities as the members of the upper house. Take a look.
My priorities in Rajya Sabha are going to be to support my nation on policy making and implementation of projects on infrastructure, effective implementation on infrastructure, environment and industrial growth.
It is our duty to bring it to the notice of the Government of India to take their support, financial support for the welfare of the weaker sections. That is main important, as well as agriculture. Agriculture is the prime sector of our state.
Lot of issues are pending with state developmental practice issues. Most probably, first priority is the separation of the Telangana. That lot of issues is pending with the central government. Irrigation projects, industrial sectors, all aspects. The collectively responsibility will take into follow the issues, all issues, and the part of the Andhra Pradesh state development issues.
To defend our country from any kind of destruction, maybe from foreign country, maybe from internal. So, as long as I am the Rajya Sabha member, my first priority is to defend our nationality, to defend our country.
कैसा डेवलपमेंट हो सकेगा, उड़ीसा में क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, खास करके माइनॉरिटीज़ का क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, उसको राज्यसभा में उठाऊंगा.
मेरी कोशिश रहेगी कि जो आवाम के इश्यूज़ है, जिनकी आवाज़ पार्लियामेंट तक नहीं पहुंच सकती है, उनकी मैं आवाज़ बनूंगा.
After administering the oath or affirmation to the 45 of the 61 newly elected members of the Rajya Sabha, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu nominated all the new members on different department-related parliamentary standing committees. In all, Chairman Naidu has nominated 65 members on different committees, including filling up of some vacancies by the sitting members. So, Dr. Vinay Sahasrabudhe has been appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Human Resource Development after the expiry of the term or membership of Dr. Satyanarayan Jatia. Here are the details.
Those members who took oath on July 22nd will get to participate in the meetings of parliamentary committees, but the remaining 16 new members would participate only after they take oath. In all, Chairman Naidu has nominated 65 members on different committees, including filling up of some vacancies by sitting members. Member Ramdas Athavale, being a minister, was not nominated to any committee. Dr. Vinay P. Sahasrabudhe has been appointed as chairman of the Committee on Human Resource Development, further to the expiry of the membership of Dr. Satyanarayan Jatia. Members nominated to the committees include Jyotiraditya Scindia and former Lok Sabha Deputy Speaker M. Thambidurai have become members of the Parliamentary Committee on Human Resource Development, while Congress member Digvijay Singh has been nominated to the Committee on Urban Development. NCP leader Sharad Pawar has been made a member of the Committee on Defence. Senior Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge has been nominated to the Standing Committee on Commerce and former Rajya Sabha Deputy Speaker Harivansh to the panel on Agriculture. Former Prime Minister H.D. Devegowda, who took oath as Rajya Sabha member, has been nominated to the Committee on Railways, while former Chief Justice of India Ranjan Gogoi has been made a member of the Committee on External Affairs. Among others who have been nominated to various parliamentary committees are Bhuvaneshwar Kalita and G.K. Vasan to HRD, Subrata Bakshi, Ramchandra Jangra, Alla Ayodhya Rami Reddy and Sumer Singh Solanki to Urban Development. Priyanka Chaturvedi, Deepak Prakash and Mausam Noor have been nominated to the Standing Committee on Commerce. KTS Tulsi, Nabam Rebia, J.M. Lokhandwala, Sudhanshu Trivedi, Ajit Kumar Bhuyan and Muzibullah Khan to Energy. MP Dinesh Trivedi has been nominated to the Standing Committee on Home Affairs. Udayan Raje Bhosle, Narhari Amin and Phulo Devi Netam are in Railways. Premchand Gupta and Rajiv Satav have been nominated to the Committee on Defence, while Tiruchi Shiva and K.C. Venugopal to the Committee on Transport, Tourism and Culture. Shibu Soren and Mopidevi Venkataramana Rao to the Committee on Coal and Steel. Elamaram Karim has been nominated to Finance, while Dr. Bhagwat Karad to Petroleum and Natural Gas. Iranna Kadadi, K.P. Munuswamy, Sujit Kumar and Vanviroy Kharluki to Rural Development. Ramnath Thakur, Biswajit Demari, Ashok Gasti, Ramila Ben Bara and Mamata Mohanta have been nominated to the Committee on Social Justice and Empowerment. Arun Singh, N.R. Elango and Subhash Chandra Singh to Water Resources. Indubala Goswami and Bashisht Narayan Singh to the Committee on Health and Family Welfare. Rupa Ganguly, Dr. Fauzia Tehseen Ahmed to Food, Consumer Affairs and Public Distribution. Maharaja Sana Joaba Lay Shamba to Science and Technology, Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Vivek Thakur, Dushyant Gautam and Neeraj Dangi to Labour. K. Vanlal Vena, A.D. Singh and P. Selvarasu to Chemicals and Fertilizers. Pilli Subhash Chandra Bose to Standing Committee on Industry. Dipender Singh, K.R. Suresh Reddy, Abhay Bharadwaj and Rajendra Gehlot have been nominated to Personnel, Public Grievances, Law and Justice. Parimal Nathwani and Shakti Singh Gohil to the Information Technology Standing Committee. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has reconstituted the panel of Vice Chairmen with effect from July 24, 2020. In the absence of the Chairman and Deputy Chairman, one of them presides over the House. While nominating members to the panel, the Chairman usually gives consideration to the strength of various political parties in the House. Now the members on the Vice Chairman panel are Bhuvaneshwar Kalita from BJP, Vandana Chavan from NCP, Sukhendu Shekhar Roy from TMC, Surendra Singh Nagar from BJP, Dr. L. Hanumantaya from Congress and Dr. Sasmit Patra from the BJD. And Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla met earlier this week. Two presiding officers discussed a new option for accommodating the members of Parliament in conformity with the norm of physical distancing during the ensuing monsoon session of Parliament. This visit was followed by a detailed discussion on using the chambers of both the houses for conducting the proceedings of each of the two houses. Here are all the details.
Chairman Naidu recounted that the last budget session of Parliament had to be adjourned sine die on 23rd March, a few days ahead of schedule, as MPs wanted to be with the people in the hour of crisis. He said that Parliament is required to meet again within 6 months of the last sitting. He stated that he and the Speaker of Lok Sabha Om Birla have so far held several rounds of discussions on enabling the meetings of the parliamentary committees and the monsoon session of Parliament in the context of COVID-19 induced social distancing norm, as the logistics of seating and participation of MPs in the proceedings require detailed deliberation and planning. Chairman Naidu has stated that with the easing of restrictions on domestic air travel and to a lesser degree on rail travel, the department-related standing committee of both houses of Parliament have resumed their meetings this month. They have undertaken examination of various aspects of management of the pandemic and its fallout. This in effect means the required parliamentary scrutiny of the handling of the pandemic started in about 3.5 months of the last sitting of the apex legislature of the country. Any other shorter time frame may not have been possible given the prevailing situation. The Committee on Home Affairs has reviewed various aspects of management of the pandemic, with the Home Secretary presenting evidence. The Home Ministry is the nodal ministry for handling the pandemic. Last week, the Committee on Science and Technology reviewed research and scientific preparedness in the context of the pandemic. Each meeting lasted over 3 hours. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu paid tribute to late MP Virendra Kumar by a virtual condolence meeting from his official residence on Wednesday.
Calling the virtual meet an emotional one, the Vice President fondly remembered Virendra Kumar. Naidu said Virendra Kumar would have been celebrating his 84th birthday today. Venkaiah Naidu said that Kumar had always put public cause over everything else. Naidu said Kumar's conduct was worthy of emulation by all legislators.
Sri Virendra Kumar was a multifaceted personality, a politician, a prolific writer, an environmentalist, and an accomplished journalist. For protection of environment, as just now Jairam has said, he has resigned from his ministership. As chairman and managing director of the Mathrubhumi Printing and Publishing Limited, he made an invaluable contribution in the field of journalism.
Talking about the ongoing COVID-19 crisis, Venkaiah Naidu acknowledged that the media industry has been badly hit by the pandemic and several media houses are facing COVID-induced financial strain. He said there have been some layoffs as well. The Vice President appealed to everyone to treat their employees with empathy and care and stand with them during these difficult times. He appreciated the fact that despite being hit, the media industry has pursued the mission of empowering people through information and perspective on the pandemic. He added that the media should guard against unverified and unsubstantiated claims on treating COVID-19.
And VP M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday paid tributes to two icons of India's independence movement, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Chandrasekhar Azad, on their birth anniversary, saying people should resolve to strive hard to realize their dreams for the country.
In his message, Prime Minister Modi paid tribute to the two brave sons of Mother India on their birth anniversary. In a series of tweets, the Vice President urged everyone to strive hard to realize their dreams for this great country. He also said there should be a greater focus in school books on the tales of sacrifice, patriotism and valor of our freedom fighters to inspire the younger generation. The Vice President also said, Tilak's famous declaration, "Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it," served as a powerful clarion call to the future revolutionaries of India's struggle for independence. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla also paid tributes to the two freedom fighters. Birla also paid a floral tribute to Bal Gangadhar Tilak.
And Vice President of India and Chairman of Rajya Sabha M. Venkaiah Naidu has hailed the media for empowering the people with necessary information, analysis and perspectives about various aspects of the outbreak of coronavirus and the COVID-19 pandemic, and partnering with the anxious people in the ongoing fight against the disease. Take a look.
In his Facebook post titled "Media, Our Partner in Corona Times," Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu dealt at length with the role of media over the last few months and complimented media and media persons for effectively discharging their core function of informing, educating and empowering the people, helping them cope with the pandemic. He said when people run into adversity, they look for information regarding its causes and consequences, its duration and the means of coping with it. In the current times, this task fell on the media. The Vice President noted that besides being a vehicle of much required empowerment of people for taking informed actions against the spread of the virus, media also played the role of a chronicler of the pandemic and as the bridge between the people and government for regular communication on preparedness. He further said that media also set the agenda for debates in parliamentary institutions with analytical insights into various aspects of the pandemic and its impact on different sections of the society. The Vice President commended the spirit of the media for pursuing the mission of informing the people despite running into tough times itself. He said with the economy contracting due to restrictions, advertisement revenues have dried up. Scale of operations had to be adjusted and a good number of media persons had to take a pay cut. But by and large, the media persisted with the mission of empowering the people when it is needed the most. He also referred to the peculiar problem faced by print media of hard copies not being distributed as they were presented as carriers of the virus. Regarding print media, Naidu noted, I follow more closely the print media. The amount of space provided for coronavirus and the unfolding pandemic outscored even wartime reporting. Innovating product spaces have been introduced and persisted with to cater to the information-hungry readers. Extensive analysis of various aspects of the disease and its impacts still continue in mission mode. Venkaiah Naidu, however, sounded caution regarding some sections of television media, noting that they should have avoided and should henceforth desist from hyping the situation, as creating panic would further destabilize the already anxious minds of people. He also urged netizens to use social media for disseminating only authenticated information. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, that's all I had for you in this edition of Parliament This Week. Thanks for watching and keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.